Welcome to the grind.
There's a 2-hour window I get to see my woman. There's a clock ticking on her, it ain't my friend. Work wasn't easy, but we've been fit. Oh, I'm home, and she's off to bed. Oh no, money, my baby liar.
Welcome, everyone, to a late edition of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Devin Murray. Had a bit of a busy Friday. I was going to do a longer video podcast with some graphics, get that up for some Friday enjoyment. But instead, we'll just reschedule that for Monday, give me some time to finish up some graphic ideas. I mean, not like graphic where you shouldn't watch them ideas or listen to them ideas, but just some ideas to put up some graphics, some overlays, some stuff for you guys to watch while you're listening to the pod. And it'll give us some more time to form some bad opinions about all the teams in the NBA. Real quick, last night we won our one NFL bet. Took Josh Allen to lead the game in passing yards for minus 225 and walked away with that one. Now I do have to issue a mea culpa. I went 0-2 last night officially. If you're looking at what was said on the pod, I usually don't bet on the late games until around the time they get started. I missed the tip. I missed the start of the Lakers-Suns game because I was watching the Bucks game. And the Lakers started off hot. The line moved in their favor. And then it looked like the Suns were going on a run. And so I just kind of sat on the sidelines until about middle of the second quarter. Was able to catch the Lakers minus 2.5, and they won. But in fairness to the handful of listeners, I will count it as 0-2 since they did not cover minus 6. Which still puts us with a easily winning record for the NBA on the season at 11-6-1. If you follow the Twitter account or the X account at The Grind Pod, then you would have also seen that to hedge off our Bucks minus 6, thought that Tyrese Maxey might have a good game, took the over 22.5 points. He slaughtered that. That bet won by midway through the fourth quarter, and Maxey finished with 31. I've got plenty of thoughts on those games, but again, this is a late issue of the podcast. We're just trying to get it out before these late games tip off. So we'll recap Sixers, Bucks, and Suns, Lakers a little bit more in depth on Monday. But tonight, let's get to our NBA slate. We've got a full lineup of games tonight, which are about to tip real soon. First off, we've got Nuggets going to the Grizzlies. Nuggets are favored by 5.5, and I like the Nuggets. Luke Kennard is in concussion protocol. He's out tonight. Santi Aldama is out again tonight. 5.5 is a lot. I think they're trying to scare everyone off of the Nuggets if they haven't been keeping up with the Grizzlies too closely. Unfortunately, I think they kind of blow the Grizzlies out tonight. I don't think it's close. And it doesn't look like that 5-point line is enough to keep the public away. Looks like a lot of the bets and a lot of the money are on the Nuggets. I tend to agree. Next up, we've got Pistons Hornets. Opened up at Hornets minus 4 or minus 6. It's now around minus 4, minus 4.5, depending on where you look. The public seems to be pretty split on this one. I like the Pistons. I like what I saw out of Cade Cunningham. There's not a lot of moving parts in that offense as far as them trying to get their shots. I think that they're pretty efficient. I think they're pretty mechanical, which is not how I would describe the Trae Young, DeJounte Murray backcourt that the Hornets faced to open the season. I believe that Trae Young and DeJounte Murray went a combined 7 for 33 in Charlotte, and Mark Williams seemed to be a problem. Jalen Durant held his own in Miami, putting up 17 and 14 on good shooting numbers. I like the Pistons, getting 4.5. Next up, the 6:30 games, we've got Thunder at Cavs. This line opened up at minus 5 for the Cavs. It's now around 2.5, 3, depending on where you look. The large percentage of the bets are coming in on the Thunder, but the money is a little bit more even, showing that maybe some of the sharps think that the Cavs had a bad start to the season and the Thunder are overrated. Well, I think these sharps are stupid. Cavs were lucky to win their last game. Not too thrilled about what I saw from them. And I think the Thunder just have more talent top to bottom. Thunder played a really well-coached Chicago Bulls team and over the course of 48 minutes figured them out and decimated them. This is probably going to be a really good game, but I don't think the Cavs should be favored by 2.5, 3 points over a lot of teams, especially not someone as dangerous as the Thunder. SGA's length, Giddey's length, I think we're going to see some problems for the Cavs guards. Thunder +3. Next up, a weird one. We've got Heat Celtics at Boston. This opened up at -4.5 Celtics. It's moved all the way to -8. I think a good amount of that might be a couple of the injury possibilities for the Heat, but I'm looking at the most updated injury report, and it looks like Caleb Martin and Duncan Robinson and Jaime Jaquez Jr. are both probable, or all three probable to play. Josh Richardson is out, obviously. And 0 injuries for Boston. Sure wish I would have got this line earlier. A lot of the money seems to be coming in on the Celtics, and the line is reflecting that movement, which tells me Vegas is scared. I think they know that the Heat aren't any good. I'm going to take the Celtics -8, as many points as that is. I think that they dominate the Heat on the perimeter. There's just not enough talent out there for them this year, especially with that talent that they did have being a year older. Looking at you, Kyle Lowry. Celtics -8. Next up is Knicks Hawks. Probably one of the tighter games that we're going to have tonight. It's opened up Hawks -2. It's now Knicks -1.5. 72% of the bets coming in for the Knicks. Slight majority of the money as well. I feel like this is a really anti-Trey bet and maybe a little bit of New York bias. When I saw this open up at +2, I was tempted to take the Knicks. But should the Knicks really be favored on the road against anyone? Especially in a place that's as fun to go out as Atlanta? Give me the Hawks. +1.5 at home. The disrespect. Is Nate McMillan still coaching this team? I don't think so. Next up, we've got the Toronto Raptors going to the Chicago Bulls. Opened at 3 for the Bulls. It's down to about 2 to 2.5. I kind of like the Bulls in this spot, but a lot of the public is coming in on the Bulls as well. 72% of the bets, 70% of the money. I guess people weren't impressed by the Raptors win at home against the T-Wolves, and I guess people weren't scared off by the players-only meeting and getting blown out by the Thunder at home. The play here probably isn't on either side of the spread. It's probably the under at 216.5. But that's not what we do here. We pick games. We pick every game. After a little bit of deliberation, give me the Raptors. +2.5. I think their defense is legit. I think there's enough weapons to throw at DeRozan to really mess up the timing and the scheme for the Bulls. All right, next up we've got Rockets-Spurs. Rockets going to the Spurs. Opened up as Rockets -1.5. And it's down to Spurs -3. I like the Spurs. I like what I saw from the Wemby gang. Did not like what I saw from the Rockets other than Dillon Brooks showing some shooting discretion. But I don't expect a big game out of Jabari Smith Jr. once again. And there ain't going to be Luka Doncic standing with the ball at the top of the key down 4 with 30 seconds left like there was in their opener. There's not a lot of threats coming from the Rockets. Spurs' second straight game at home to open the season. I think they get at least one. Give me the Spurs -3. Nets Mavericks is our next game up. Opened at Mavericks -5. It's moved to Mavericks -6. The public seems to be all over the Nets. Must be a lot of Cam Thomas family members betting on the Nets tonight. I just don't see him having a repeat performance. Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton are both out for the Nets. Glad I caught that. Kyrie is going up against his former team. They're healthy. They're at home. Give me the Mavs -6. Next up, we've got Clippers at the Jazz. This one's at -4 Clippers, -4.5 Clippers, depending on where you look. And all of the money, or all of the bets, and a lot of the money seem to be going towards the Utah Jazz for some reason. The public hates this idea that the Clippers are going to be good this year, and I'm not sure why. I think this is the year that the Jazz just don't have it. We get another game where Russ, Kawhi, and PG are all expected to play. In games like that, it's going to be hard for me to bet against the Clippers, especially when they're playing an inferior roster like the Jazz. Give me the Clips, -4. Next up, we've got a rematch of round 1 in the Western Conference playoffs from last year. Warriors at Kings. Opened up 1.5 Kings. It's down to 3, or it's up to 3 for the Kings, with all of the bets and all of the money coming in on the Kings. That might change closer to tip, but the squares have already shown their hand. I think Kevon Looney beats up Domantas Sabonis tonight, even though Draymond's out. I shockingly kind of liked what I saw from Chris Paul. Not so much running with the ones, but he did a great job with that second unit, I thought. He obviously still clogs up the elbow, which is where Clay and Steph like to operate, so we'll see if maybe they clean up that a little bit tonight. Not super impressed with the Kings despite their win in Utah. Warriors know that they probably shouldn't start the season 0-2. Give me the Warriors +3.5. Next up, we've got the Orlando Magic playing the late game and traveling all the way to the West Coast to Portland. Play the Trailblazers. This opened up at Magic -3.5, and it's been staying right about there. Now I'm going to switch this up a little bit. All the money, all the bets is all over the Magic. And I like the Magic. And I don't like the Blazers. But the Blazers already showed us that they're willing to play all of their guys until that 48th minute is over. I think the bet here isn't Magic -3.5 for the game. I think the bet here is Magic -2.5 for the first half. So we're going to go a little off script here. We're not going to take the full game bet. We're going to take the Magic -2.5. And hey, if we're going to lose that money, we'll lose it early. Get on with our Friday night. Alrighty, so that's it for tonight's slate. All of those bets will be placed probably right before the tip, so if you see some line movement, I'm going to take those tonight. Discretion warning for the viewer. This is why you should follow us at The Grind Pod on X/Twitter. And you can get our bets right as we post them instead of, we have to do these earlier in the day, except for today because it's already 7 p.m. on the East Coast. But we will be back Monday with an in-depth review of all of the basketball that we've seen through the first week. Probably hit on a little bit of NFL, probably hit on a little college football. Might throw up a late pod for those on, Sunday night or something. If I've got anything that's just bouncing around the brain that I want to get off my chest, because I think Monday we'll have plenty to talk about in the NBA. Thanks again for listening to The Daily Grind. I've been your host, Devin Murray. Have a good weekend. Have a happy Halloween weekend. Everyone be safe. And don't bet more money than you can lose.